Council meeting. Today is March 4th. It is now 5:36 p.m. I would like to go ahead and call to order our normal meeting, starting with roll call from my left.
Councilwoman Diane Howard.
Councilman Darrell Honoré.
Mayor Reynolds.
Councilwoman Yolanda Shepherd.
Councilwoman Amelia Emmons.
Councilwoman Vanessa Wynn.
Thank you so much. At this time, we would like to have a word of prayer by Councilwoman Diane Howard. And
Okay.
if you're able, please stand.
Thank you.
I'm not able, so.
That's fine.
As we position ourselves to pray, Father, we thank you for your grace and your mercy. We give you honor and praise. Father, we welcome you and ask that you continue to bless us with your presence during this council meeting. We ask that you continue to touch our hearts and minds so that we come together and make the best decisions for our community, the city of Lithonia. Father, we thank you for hearing our prayer. We give you all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
All right, at this time, we would like to go ahead and entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda tonight.
I would like to make a motion with, what's on here? I would like to make a motion for the council meeting agenda for March 4th, 2024.
All right, is there a second?
Yes.
Awesome. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. Tonight, we do not have public comments. Is that correct? All right. Thank you so much. All right, we will move to, there's no public hearing tonight either, right? There's no public hearing, right? Okay, we'll move to old business at this time. The first one is 2556 Wiggin Street. This is rezoning. I understand that we have a resident here on Wiggin Street that needed rezoning, but it was actually withdrawal. So long story short, I need a motion to accept the withdrawal of this petition of 2556 Wiggin Street without prejudice. If I can get a motion to say such as that.
I motion to withdraw
Mm-hmm.
the rezoning request without prejudice
And state the address.
at 2556 Wiggin Street.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you. We're going to move forward to the second reading. 2501 Park Drive. This was rezoning. We already heard the first, of course. And we'll wait for our city clerk to do the second reading. Okay, she's coming. Who are you?
Oh.
We could get out of here.
All right. Let's, council, is it okay that we skip some things real quick? Okay. All right, let's go to new business and we'll jump back to old. Is that okay? All right. We're going to look at the Lithonia lookbook first.
Okay.
All right. Councilwoman, and Mayor Pro Tem, whenever you're ready.
Okay, guys, so I put a lot of hard work into this, and as I've said in the weeks before, this is the Lithonia lookbook, and I would love for you guys to review it. It's printed out and folded, trifold for you, for you to look at. This is a rough copy, as you can see, but I figured that this is something tangible we can kind of look at. But this is basically the foundation of what's to be presented. I love for Mr. maybe Kilgore to put something together that's a little bit more tight and make it look really pretty. But if you guys want to add anything to this or have a conversation of what we can maybe do to make it look, or anything, just want to put that out there. I put our faces on there because people need to know who's their city reps. Maybe Mr. Kilgore can add our email address can go on there, but I would love for us to just keep it with the city hall's number on the back, the website. And this is, of course, encouraging people to come out to our city council meetings. These are the known events that I know of, so if there's something that's missing, we can add it for this quarter. But I would love for this to go out before Cities Week, so at least they know that this is something that's coming up as our next biggest thing. And the QR code here goes to our city's website. So if anything were to change, if they, do that QR code, they can look at the calendar and see if anything changes. So at least it's going to be live and active even after these upcoming events have passed,
Okay.
And as far as the sponsors, this is just the potential sponsors, but if we get business owners that want to sponsor these, the lookbook as well, that would be even better. We could just keep adding to that as time goes on. And then about us, we can add something, but I just took this from our website. Since we are a historic city, I wanted them to know where the word Lithonia came from. And I just added a picture of Bruce Street, since I know that's the upcoming project that we're raising money for. And just thought about it. We can do some kind of link or add some information to raise funds for them on here too. And then that's the old Main Street. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, this is good. The only thing I want to add is, excuse me, that YouTube channel. I think that would be good too.
Like a QR link to the YouTube channel or something? Is it
not really a
is it
QR? It's just whatever the channel is
the name of the channel?
to get on. See where you have City Hall first and third Monday.
Yeah.
Just
Is
add the
there-
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh,
Put
just
the
type the
YouTube
link out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing I see.
I got one thing.
What you got?
I sent it to Amelia. Can you use another picture out for me? I hate to be the only vain one.
Now that's gonna be up to
That
Mr.
was
Kilgore.
terrible.
I don't know. I just took this from the website.
I do. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, send that
Yeah.
picture. Oh,
To
I
Mr.
sent it to
Kilgore
her.
because I don't know how to.
okay.
You get what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
Okay.
I
Can
sent
he
it to
put it
you.
in a circle and make us look?
Okay.
I sent
Oh,
the
that's a
picture
nice
to you.
picture.
Send
Yeah,
that
that's
to
the
me.
one.
That's the new one. Okay.
Yeah.
You just took not too long ago.
Yeah, that's the ones we did.
Before you print it, let me get one.
Even though the face didn't change, that's it.
Can we get new pictures?
I need to see this.
I look like a totally different person.
We
now.
just
That was in
had.
October, I think.
I think we gonna miss it, because you didn't try to.
It
set up
was-
something.
It was
Yeah.
the people that wanted to take pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can set it up again.
Okay. It might be a little bit too late for the first pamphlet to go out, but of course we could add the honoree's picture.
It's
Um,
terrible.
So yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else has any
No, it looks nice.
sponsors? You want more?
No,
Or
no, I was
okay.
gonna ask, was he sponsor, what is that sponsorship into?
The cost for shipping this out and the cost for keep doing this,
Paper and ink.
paper, ink,
Gotcha.
all
How
that.
much? How much?
What, since we're known for the quarry and the rock, we can take pictures of the quarry, some of the rock work that's been done,
Okay.
in the city.
We could take a picture of the senior center.
So this lookbook is going to change every time it comes out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just
that's
keep
the
your
different
ideas.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like the very first kind
Right.
of like pioneer
Nice.
thing.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks good.
So
I mean, on
what was I
down the
gonna
line.
ask?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So is the city going? How does that work? I don't know if the city is going to be a sponsor. Like, how would that part work as far as money going into this?
I'm assuming we would need to put it in our budget this coming, what is it, July? June or
Okay.
July?
Mhm.
Make sure we have money set aside just for this.
Okay, because Miss Rabunda, she did
Mhm.
state that they're going to sponsor it. So I don't know what that looks like either.
Okay.
But yeah. So I just wanted to kind of, you know.
How much
Okay.
you think the budget will be?
Honestly, I don't know.
This is mailing, right? Mailing.
Yeah, they have this thing with USPS called every door direct mail or something like that,
Mhm.
EDDM, and you can set it up online. And so, right, only in the city limits, they can drop it off at each house.
Huh.
However, there's a family that lives in you know, the community, not mobile homes, but down here on what's it called? Oak Leaf, yes, thank you, Oak Leaf. So they said, you know, they can, I could just hand it to them, and with their HOA, they can hand it out to every member, so we can save money there.
Mhm. That's true.
And then I don't know if you guys want to man your streets for this first go round, and we can save money on that end too.
Mhm.
And then for the next go round, or the next, I don't know how many times we can do it this year, but at least one more time this year, and then have it look, you know, add more stuff to it as time goes on. So
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And then you're probably going to see some businesses that want to sponsor
Mhm.
just so they can get their information.
Exactly.
Logo.
mhm, mhm.
We might wind up with 2 pages instead of 1.
You never
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will literally be a book. That
Right.
way. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Good job. I like that. All right. Anything else, Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem?
No,
Before
that's
we
all I
move
can think
back.
of.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move back to our city clerk. The second reading, 2501 Park Drive rezoning.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
So tonight I'm going to bring you the second read of 2501 Park Drive. This will be the last portion of this ordinance before we sign it into law and move forward with the rezoning for Park Drive. All right, so an ordinance by the mayor and city council of the city of Lithonia, Georgia, to rezone property located at 2501 Park Drive from NCD Neighborhood Conservation District to an OI Office Institution District, to provide severability, to provide a penalty, to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide for an adoption and effective date, and to provide for other lawful purposes. And that is Park Drive.
Alrighty. So you're gonna move forward to the first read.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, 6853 and 6859 Magnolia Street rezoning. First read.
So this will be the first read. We attempted to do the first read at the last work session, but we had an error that needed to be corrected. So I'm bringing it back to you guys. So a substitute ordinance by the mayor and city council of the city of Lithonia, Georgia, to rezone property located at 6853 and 6859 Magnolia Street from R60 Single Family Residential District to RM85 Multifamily Residential District, to provide for severability, to provide for penalty, to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, and to provide for an adoption and effective date, and to provide for other lawful purposes. And that is your first read for 2553 and 2859 Magnolia Street.
You mean 6853.
I'm sorry. What did I read? Oh,
I
Lord.
think you might have read Park Drive one. I don't know. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
68.
6853, 6859
Okay.
Magnolia Street.
Got it.
Sorry about that.
Is that the one where the guy came in and was presenting?
Yes.
Okay.
And he had the set of townhomes that'll be on
Gotcha.
Magnolia Street. That is correct.
Okay.
So we'll do one more. Our second read for that will be at our next work session, and then we'll proceed with that. That'll be the last of it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need to finish reading before I ask?
No.
Okay. I know when we asked him questions about parking, there was a lot that he didn't know at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know when he might know, because I know he was kind of working through and didn't really have answers for us.
Right. So we can ask that he come back before council so you guys can answer questions even at the next work session, if that's okay. This pertains to strictly just the rezoning of the property. So you all gave the okay, but I did know you had some outstanding questions, and we can have them come back in a work session once they have more architectural renderings and all of that.
Yeah,
good
once
stuff.
you get that.
Yes, ma'am.
Answers, thank you.
No problem.
All righty. Ready for new business? URA resolution of necessity.
So I'm back again. I talked to you guys briefly at the last council meeting about this resolution. It's just the setup or the establishment of the early stages of the URA development. So because we are looking to establish our own URA, which will be council led, we have to establish a resolution for necessity first, which states we do have some areas of blight and we do have some areas that we're looking to improve throughout the city of Lithonia, not just in one particular area, but throughout the city. And that's what this resolution just states. It says now we have a reason for necessity for a URA, and this will then give us permission to go into a URA plan, which I and DJ will put together and bring back before you all. And then that incorporates the next step to officially establish the URA. So I sent you all in the correspondence on Friday. I'm not sure if you all got a chance to read through it, but I would like to give a first read, and you guys can take a vote as to whether you would like to proceed with the resolution of necessity. So I'll read the preamble, and then you guys are free to vote. A resolution to describe the boundaries of redevelopment areas within the city of Lithonia, Georgia, to cause a redevelopment plan to be prepared for said areas and other purposes. I'll leave it to you all for a vote.
All right, council, whenever you're ready. You want to know what you're going for? To establish the resolution of necessity.
Oh, just that. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to establish a URA resolution of necessity.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to proceed over to the SPOS fund. We have an update, I understand, by our chief city administrator. You can come forward.
Chief of Ned.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so with the SPOS bond, I had some conversations. I know I spoke to Councilman Honore. I want to break it down a little bit simpler because I think last time we had a lot of convolution with numbers and going around and not actually explaining what the SPOS bond can do or what we can do with the SPOS bond. So first and foremost, the SPOS bond, it's just like having the SPOS account, except we get it all up front to complete our project. Instead of getting, I think it's roughly like $42,000 a month, we'll get 2.1 million upfront deposited to complete SPOS projects, not to go into a general fund to pay for anything, but it's for our SPOS project, i.e. the one big one we've all been talking about for however many years, the parking lot on Wigan Street, which, by the way, we got an RFP for. So that came in last week. I got a meeting tomorrow with Harry at 11:30 to finalize 3 prices on the quote sheet. So with that, how the SPOS want to work is we have 2 banks that gave us bids as far as the interest rate goes. The first bank is going to be Chase Bank. You can look on the back of that first sheet. I highlighted the interest rate on that. The second one is going to be Regions. On the back of the first sheet, I highlighted the interest rate on that one as well. So, Regions, then Chase.
Yeah.
So if you see there's 2 numbers that are highlighted. Of course, one is lower than the other one. So on Chase, you have a 3.93% interest. That's option A, and then you have 4.14 on option B. Same thing on Regions. It's 3.96 and 4.09. So to explain the difference and what the difference between option A and option B are, the easiest way is option A, there's a penalty if you pay it early, okay? And you have to pay it off in a certain amount of time. Option B, we have 6 years to pay it. There's no penalty. and we can refinance it at any point in time if the rates come down to save money on interest. Option A, you cannot refinance.
So there's a prepayment penalty?
On option, so like on option A, if you refinance it, it's just like paying it off and then refinance it with somebody else. Then we end up with a penalty. Option B, of course, is a little bit higher interest rate. So like for regions, 3.96 for option A, 4.09 for option B. So that 4.09, yeah, that's the lesser of the two option Bs. That's the one that Mr. Ed Wall and I both think is the best option, being that it's the lowest percentage rate in the option B, but it gives us the ability to refinance at any point in time. And we all know interest rates are high right now, and they could come down depending on what happens over the next year, 2 years, 3 years. So at any point in time, if they come down significantly enough, we can make the decision to refinance it to save interest without having to pay a penalty.
These interest rates seem to be rather low to me. I mean,
You just been around like that, yeah. That's
I mean,
Compared to the regular market, it is.
I mean, it's decent.
Well, so with spot funds, you got to remember those are more like a guaranteed bond because it's a guaranteed money that the city's getting. So the municipal bonds are going to have a little bit lower of an interest rate. It's not the risk is a lot less than like, you know, a house or a big construction loan or anything like that. So these are the two. Now we did contact and myself and the mayor both had a bank reach out to us, which asked us to put a bid in. That was 2 weeks ago. We gave them all the information and still, I even went to the bank, a week and a half or a week ago and said, hey, are y'all going to put a bid in? I need it by this date and time. Still didn't hear that.
What bank was that?
Citizens, which is who we bank with.
Yes.
So, but these are our two options right now. There was some other banks out there. It wasn't that they declined to work with us. It's just at this point in time, they're not doing municipal loans or they got something else going on, or we just didn't hear back from them because they're too busy. And these bids are from this morning. We pulled the most recent interest rate to make a decision based off of, because I know last time I think our bids were like 30 days old or something like that, and I know they changed. So I made sure that Mr. Wall pulled the bids from this morning.
But it could be different tomorrow, right? So
No, this is, we already have, we're going to vote tonight. We already have a resolution for it.
Oh.
We're going to do everything. That way we're locked in right here. We have no change. Matter of fact, they actually couried us. They sent a courier with the documents this afternoon just to make sure, you know, whatever we vote, we can lock it in. We don't have no change.
Because it does say by the 4th,
Yes,
and it is after business hours, but we still good.
we have all the documents.
and there's no prepayment penalty on the option B.
Option B, no. That's why we have the ability to refinance.
Okay. I mean, what is technically considered a low rate for a municipal bond?
Depends on the market.
Yeah, because I'm trying to like she said, this is really low already. So
I do know this. I think me and Ed were talking earlier, and we went back and looked about a year and a half ago. Some of the rates were like 2.5. So if they get back to that, of course, we want to jump on it and refinance because that's a huge difference. So at the end, it'll save us on any interest payments.
All right, so you're recommending regions?
Regions on option B, yes, sir.
The default rate is cheaper. I mean, default rate is lower. And we can make it default.
Yes. Whenever you all are ready.
I would like to make a motion to accept, the SPOS one with Regents Bank, option B, at the 4.09% rate.
A second.
Thank you for the second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much, council.
Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Ashley's gonna read the resolution.
Go.
That way.
Okay.
Okay, a resolution of the City Council of, excuse me, of the City Council of Lithonia, Georgia, authorizing the commencement of validation proceedings for Lithonia, Georgia general obligation bonds and for other related purposes.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it. Thank you.
All right. We're going to move forward to the Historic Preservation Committee appeal. All right. This was,
Actually,
yes.
it says for decision for the lookbook. Was there, we had a vote for something?
Oh, did we need to vote? What you want to?
I didn't put it for decision. I didn't know. That's what I'm just asking.
Oh, we didn't really vote to go ahead and approve it.
No,
We just
we
talked
never
about
did.
the addition.
Maybe
That's
we
it.
need to vote to say it's just, so.
Yeah,
Okay. That's fine.
I'll let someone else do it because
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Lithonia lookbook.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Thank you so much. Moving forward to Historic Preservation Committee appeal. All right, we have, what's your first and last name? All right, can you come forward, please? All right. All right, just state your name and address and just let council and myself know exactly what has transpired and what's going on with you.
My name is Franzetta Shivers. I'm a resident at 6790 Church Street here in Lithonia. And I'm here to appeal the most recent COA denial from the Historic Preservation Commission. In this denial happened because my window installer went to get the permit to install the windows and was denied. Prior to this denial, I received an approval for the C of A. So I am here asking to appeal the denial because it had already been approved previously
Okay.
in September, and then the denial was in December.
Okay, so what I would like to do first is let council, if they have any questions for you, go ahead and ask those questions. Once those questions are done, they've been answered, I would like you to have a seat, and I want to bring up our Historic Preservation Committee head and let her speak on, on her behalf and find out what transpired, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, Councilwoman?
You sure this how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
My only question is were there any changes on the windows from the day you got the approval to the day you got the, any changes in
No.
the specs? Nothing changed.
No changes in the specs that I presented when it was first approved. And it's the exact same company that installed the previous windows I had put in on the second floor of my house. So these windows would match what's already been installed.
All right, any other questions from anyone?
No.
All right, you can have a seat for a moment. Thank
you.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Dawn Massey, come forward, please.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tonight I'm here representing the Historic Preservation Commission and just wanted to go over a couple of quick things, just to kind of do a little back history. So in probably in 2010 and 11, the Georgia State did this extensive study for the city of Lithonia for design standards. I mean, there's chapters on downtown, there's chapters on the community, things of that nature. This was produced in April of 2012. So in October of 2019, the ordinance was signed, actually creating a historic commission. So when Ms. Shivers originally came to the city, there was a little bit of confusion because there was a new personnel and they didn't know that we had a historic commission. So somebody, I guess her builder or something, came to the city, got a permit to start taking the siding down, doing all this stuff. She already had it in the works. It was very confusing. Then the code enforcement shut her down for a while, and it just was an extremely confusing scenario for that first COA. And we finally, what we said back in that day, which I think you might have in front of you, was that we took issue with the windows, but she had already purchased them. Everything was kind of rolling, and this had been going on for, I want to say, 6 months. So we kind of protested, but we went ahead and approved the COA because everything was kind of last minute. She had to have an answer at certain times, stuff like that. I'm not saying anything negative against her because I know she works and it's hard to do this. And, it's these big houses are a money pit. So anyway, so then she came back to us again in 11 of 23 and wants to replace 11 more windows. Well, the board at the time just decided, the goal of the historic preservation is to repair or restore. It's not to replace with vinyl windows. And I'm going to say, I know she's not the only person in the city that's replaced their windows in historic homes with vinyl windows. But our thinking at the time was that rather than with 11 windows, rather than go back with vinyl, to go ahead and put some windows in there that were, would have been original, wooden, same kind of, the correct design, all of that thing. So I can see both sides of it, but that's our position and why we decided to deny the COA that she presented to us. So your decision.
Go ahead.
Question?
Yes, question. Okay, so we do have 2 letters in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
One dated September the 19th. And I'm just thinking as a homeowner, if you give me a letter dated September 19th and you approve it, but then when I go to get more windows for something that you already approved, and then you disapprove it, I'm not understanding how.
Well, again, I'm telling you, there was so much confusion with that first COA, and we were kind of new as a board, and it just kind of dragged on, and we just kind of decided to, just go ahead and approve it under protest. I mean, you can see in the letter that there's some things that we disagreed with, but we just wanted to go ahead and move forward with it because, I say, she'd already bought the stuff. It was sitting in her yard. We just need to get it cleaned up. But again, our thinking was when she came back, I don't know whether she bought the windows or not. I was approached by a window person, so not Miss Shivers herself. And so anyway, that was our decision, that we would prefer for her to restore the windows to their original design and things because, if you keep changing these houses, they're not historic anymore. So that is the whole point of historic preservation, is to preserve, repair, restore, stuff like that. So that's what we are.
I agree. But I think that in this case, we're talking about the same house. And I personally don't think that it is fair to tell somebody it's okay and then turn around and tell them it's not.
Well, that's her. She's got an appeal, and that's your decision. And I'm not going to,
But
I'm not going to have any emotion one way or another.
So I guess moving forward, there is a process. That's the bigger piece that I want to know. Moving forward, there is a process in place. Do you guys vote as we vote, yay or nay?
Yeah.
So moving forward, there is a process in place. Is the process been streamlined to coordinate with the city? So if another homeowner comes to the city will be aware to tell them, hey, we have a preservation committee, and here are the contacts. So that person.
It has taken a while to put all that into place. And, but yes, that is working now. So it's not working perfectly because there has really there's been no major communication to the community that, hey, you're in a historic district. And before you do anything to the exterior of your home, you need to check it out.
So what can we do to help streamline that? Because
Well, maybe put that in your shout
essentially
book.
it seems easy, right?
Mhm.
That could be. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I can definitely. Yeah. So we have, I will tell you that we have on the city government page, we have a historic preservation link. And then we have all the design standards there. We have the COA there. We have info at HPC. Lithonia City. We've got a communication tool. So
I have a question.
Okay.
So, okay, I understand that we're a historic community, but not all the homes are considered historic. So how would someone really know unless they're already registered with the, you know what I'm talking about, that list?
Well, again, I think it's important I think there's 700 households in the community. I think it's important to just get that word out, whether we do something through your communication or we had talked about within our group that we've got a historic district, but we really ought to have multiple historic districts. Maybe we could have a sign when you pull in, you're entering a historic district. So a lot of people, even in the downtown area, act like, they don't know anything, but just about every city has a historic preservation commission. So
I guess what I'm trying to say is, right, like my home isn't considered historic. It's just masonry brick, right?
Well, when was it built?
In the 60s.
Well, anything over 50 years old is considered historic. So there is a map. May I brought that map in?
Yeah.
There's a map hanging up behind the city clerk's desk that's got all the addresses in the city. And if yours has a little black dot on there, you're historic.
So what I'm saying is, and I hear you,
Mhm.
but there's no clear depiction to a homeowner, especially
Correct.
when they first come into buying a home. No one ever told me that because my house is over 50 years old. I've never seen that person as a realtor. But there's usually this list on the registry for the historic preservation, the national list. And if your address is on there, that's how you kind of
I'm working on that.
So if you're living in the city, you don't technically know. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I hear you, but like if you go to the Conyers website, they have a gift map, whatever it is, that shows every historic home. I'm working on that. I've made some contacts with people. They say if we get the information to them, they can do that.
Okay.
And so listen, I was in HOA for a while, same sort of thing. People would buy a house, they move in. Oh, you're kidding, I'm in HOA. So it is a communication issue.
Yeah.
One of the,
And my last question. What if a person decides that I don't know if this is optional, right? What if they decide that they don't want to be a part of the
HOA, the historic preservation. Well, I would tell you that in this city, as little as it is, we have about 15 landmarks. It's really a very special community. And so, like I say, there are some homes that have been changed to the point that they're not really considered historic anymore. So, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I was just curious because I didn't see that anywhere, and I was wondering if there was like a true answer because there's even newer homes that's being built, but it's being built off of those just like when he talks about the what do you call it? Yeah, what is it called? Thank you. The zoning codes. It's still kind of matching the characteristics, but it's not necessarily. You get what I'm trying to say?
But I will say this to you to answer your question. There's an ordinance in place.
Yeah.
And the ordinance is pretty clear about the design standards and things like that. So I think if you have a contributing historic home, you really are supposed to meet the standards. I don't think opting out is a option.
Okay, go ahead.
John? Okay. I would think that my home would be historic, but it wasn't on the list. My
Right.
address was not on the list.
Uh-huh.
It's not, okay. All right. But getting back to to this issue, and I know you explained that you guys may have not been ready. Everything
Uh-huh.
wasn't up and
Mhm.
running. but then I don't think that she should have to.
Well,
that
that's your
weight should-
decision.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just explaining why,
Yeah,
and not only to you, also to her. So
I don't
that would
disagree.
be.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't think that she should bear the weight of that
Okay.
because that
Mhm.
historic wasn't in place at that time
So
as it needed.
I'm sorry, I did
Mhm.
have one more thing. So back to her situation, like that's why I was trying to get to the root of what's optional, what's not, because even if we do approve this, that's technically considered not historic anymore. Am I right?
I don't really, I mean, obviously it's a historic home. You know, Sam Smith might come in and buy the house and change all the windows out and put it back like it should be,
Mhm.
or, you know, or make it historic. I mean, it's, I don't know if that would, I don't know all the answers. And but I will make an announcement and say that the CAB Historic Preservation wants to come and do a walking tour here in Lithonia. So they're going to connect with us and come up with a plan. Just got an email yesterday. So
I got a question. Because from my understanding, I'm the person that will have to veto what just happened. So long story short, my question is on September 19th,
Mhm.
who voted on this day? Or do you
I
know?
have minutes and I don't have them
Mhm.
with me.
Okay.
But I can get that to you. But I think it was fairly unanimous.
Okay. So on September, they pretty much stated it was okay. So they came back in December and then stated it was not approved. And those same people voted again, do you think, or no?
Well, I just have to keep going back to
To
the
the
fact
minutes?
that the
Okay.
first COA was just kind of a mess.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Now, I know it was established in 2019 and this was 2023. So
Right.
you all wasn't
Well,
that new.
I don't know that the historic preservation was kind of operational by then
Mhm.
in 2019. I think you were in office, right? When you and
Come in,
what's her name? The others.
I started 2020 as mayor,
Yeah.
January.
And
Mhm.
then I think then what's the previous city
Phaedra
manager's name?
Sands, Miss Sands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's the one that, yeah, this kind of all got pushed through, so. And
Okay.
you and the city council did adopt the design standards.
Mhm.
So anyway, I mean, this is an isolated case and,
Okay.
I got something to say.
Go ahead, sir.
So Dawn, you know, since working with you in different things, but I wanted to say publicly that we appreciate your volunteering and handling it. You know, it seems the information you're giving to us and the ability to stay up on top of it like it's a paid position. But you know, you're definitely volunteering your time. I know it's a
Right.
lot of time, and the city appreciate that. And you're one of the few volunteers that, you know, we try to keep it close to the vest, because you know when it's
You know,
all
money
said and done,
talks.
yeah,
I'm just,
when it's all said and done, nobody else can step up. You know,
Right.
we don't have people stepping up like you.
I want to tell you that we have some great we have all the Historic Preservation Commission is Miss Wynn, Miss Aline Harper, Marie Green, and also David McCoy. It's a great board.
all of y'all. You know, I appreciate that. I know
Thank
y'all.
you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's why I was
Except
saying
for Miss
when we
Wynn.
do the episode, make sure we provide support.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just happened to be a situation that fell in the cracks, half one way and then half the other way. And which way do you go? You know,
To be fair.
to be fair.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
All right. So long story short, the windows at your home, the person that's or company that's installing them, they're just on standby to figure out what we're doing, correct? Okay. All right. Miss Ashley, what do I need to state for the record to go ahead and proceed with her job?
Hit the gap.
vetoing the decision of the board of trustees.
Okay, all right, okay. I want to go ahead and veto the decision by our Historic Preservation Committee. And so Ms. Shivers can go ahead and proceed with her job that she has already started. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience, basically. All right? Okay, thank you. All right. And the Historic Preservation Committee, I need to get the names who are on that committee as of today.
Well, I just told you,
What was the names?
David McCoy, Marie Green, Ellen Harper, myself, and Chris Green.
Okay, all right. And who fell off?
Lindsay Brown
Mhm.
and Carlene Henderson.
Got you. All right. And for the record, did you get those names?
David McCoy, Marie Green, Marilyn, Ron Maxey, Ellen Harper.
And how often do you meet now?
The third Tuesday of the month
Mhm.
at the Women's Club.
Okay.
Concord.
Okay, gotcha. All right, council, we're going to proceed to what's next on the agenda. I have tiny home workshop. No, he's not here today.
At our last council meeting, we had Bill come present the prospects of us establishing a tiny home ordinance for developers who are looking to come into our beloved city. He did send me over, you all mentioned that you wanted to do a workshop, I'm sorry. In this workshop, Bill would like us to tour the development that is in Clarkston and then also the development that is down in College Park. Just so us to take a look, a walking tour, get familiar with what they look like, and then make better ideas for what we would like to see in our city. He did send over a list of things he would like you all to think about and topics that may or may not be included in the workshop. I have provided you all with a handout. He also mentioned, oh gosh, what was that last portion? My mind is leaving me. I apologize. He had mentioned solidifying a date. I'm sorry, some dates in which you guys were available to put together the tour. He wants to be able to reach out to the communities to make sure someone's available to kind of host us, guide us around, so we're not just showing up to their property walking around. So that's me coming for you all, just asking for you to think of some dates. If you don't have any on hand, that's fine. We can talk about it again in our work session. That's not a problem. But I did want to bring it all to you before you. Didn't want it to fall through the cracks, just so we can stay on top of this ongoing ordinance.
Hopefully April.
April?
Fall.
No, I don't think that's too far out. April's
Well, April is gonna be busy. Remember the city's week?
We will have Cities Week at the end of the month. If you wanted to do April, maybe early beginning of the month. Oh, he also wanted you all to think about how you would like to engage the citizens, see how we can go about getting their input, see if they want to attend the workshop, or if we'll have something here where they can come ask questions and get to know what we're thinking about incorporating into the city.
Maybe we can have a display for Cities Week.
That would be a good
A
idea.
tiny home display, like, okay.
Yeah. So that's the first, the last full week.
Yes, Cities Week's the last full week in April.
Now, does this tiny home also include the is it how you pronounce ADA?
Oh, the accessory. So the
Yeah.
accessory dwellings, that's a conversation. I think we already have some language in our ordinances about those.
Mhm.
I can have Bill come back and do some explaining about the accessory dwellings. Those are, your sheds are not necessarily your tiny homes. They have two different guidelines for what I understand. So if you want us to incorporate the two, the ADUs and the tiny homes into one, it's not a bad idea. I believe that's the way Stonecrest approached it, where they had them both tied into one ordinance and one trump. If you had one, then you didn't have the other, and vice versa. So I can speak with him about that as well.
Nothing historic about the tiny home.
Nothing.
That's why
50 years from now.
it's so confusing.
I'm sorry.
Fair.
I
So
just
tiny
wanna
homes and then the ADUs, which I don't know much of what the difference would be other than the foundation and how they sit. Don't quote me, that is not my lane. But I will talk to Bill about how we can incorporate the ADUs in the tiny home ordinances so that it's a clear line as what's one and what is the other. Because that seems to be where we all get a little.
Yeah, I think the ADUs are behind an existing home.
And then tiny home can
is
be a
by
community.
itself, community.
Okay, so I had a question about the size of a lot that would allow a tiny home.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he said one per lot, if that's what he said, but it would be nice if someone had sufficient amount of property and it would be based on the size of their property as to how many homes, tiny homes they could put back there.
Right, and that would be an ADU, an accessory dwelling, and
Like
wouldn't
behind
necessarily
the
be the
room?
tiny home. The tiny homes is more community based, where they're just based in the community. You can't park in front of them. You can't have certain structures, but if you were to do an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling, those can be behind your property. That's about as much as I
And
know.
then he said they had to be X amount of.
But there are guidelines for
Yeah.
ADUs.
Yeah.
They have to be a certain number of square footage off your property, off the back
Right.
setback. It's a lot of
Yeah,
different.
yeah. Well, it's a lot, but that's probably something that we would need to know, especially homeowners that
Yeah.
have sufficient
That
or
can be-
acreage in the back of their home.
Yes, that can be included in the workshop as well, where there are clear definitions of what's an ADU, what's a tiny home, and then we can work all of that in so that
Yeah.
citizens can ask those questions and all that. Just not a problem.
And then also how many ADUs
For one property, based on the size of your property. Yeah, we can ask all of those things. So are we gearing towards an April date for a tiny home workshop, or would you like to push it out maybe further? I'm planning to have Bill come and do another work session with you guys, so he's here to answer these questions. If you have specific questions you want to answer, you can send them to me beforehand, so when he comes in, I can make sure he has try to keep Bill on, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, early April.
Early April's good. Early April first. Okay. We don't need a vote. I just wanted to kind of get with you all.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. I will get with you all in a more formal manner about a date.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right, we have our last piece of new business tonight. Chief Dejanette, you ready? This will be for the 592 Lounge proposal.
He's not here, but I definitely speak on, we're gonna move it to the work session next time, but.
Oh, okay.
Just to, y'all will be able to access it soon.
We've seen
There's a whole packet on
Yes.
that. And just to kind of give you a little background, I think the mayor, she's also got these calls too. We had a few people call us about the Masonic Lodge. Yeah, we want it, sounds good, but of course they wanted it for
Free.
At first it was no, we want to buy it, we want to do this, that. Of course, took them over there, show them, let them look. Yeah. Back out right away, or just say, hey, can we get it free and we'll do what we can just to operate out of this one little side. There's really no benefit to that. Mr. Calvin Chan, he's the only person that's brought a massive proposal with the fact that he wants to put all the money into it, nothing.
But
So-
not buy it first.
That he actually put in there the option to buy.
Option to buy, but it's not free, but he's wanting to fix it.
Yeah, and
have
one of
free-
one of his things was that he would invest all the money to fix it, to get it back up to code, everything. He understands it's a historic building. He has to abide by certain historic preservation rules and regulations. So he's already had, I think, 3 different architects just kind of look to give him an idea of what it would take. He's on board with it. One of his proposals was, and these are all, and I specifically said, these are all negotiable. We can negotiate anything. One of his things was, he would invest all the money, get it up and going, get it to code, do everything he needs to do for like 3 years free rent, and then his rent would start after that. But it would be a building that he would upfit for us in case, just saying if somehow it vacated or whatever, it's already completely upfitted. We didn't spend any money to do that.
Right. So if he,
Yeah. He said he would, want the option to buy too. So say he rented it or whatever after however many years he wanted to purchase it, it's something you could look at.
so if he does the repair, he wanted a 10-year lease, and he wanted to start paying rent $3,000 in the 5th year,
I think it was the 4th year.
the 4th year.
The 4th year.
So
But everything's negotiable. That's that's
Yeah, it's
not
an
set.
offer.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just an
it's an offer.
and that's more than what we've had.
Yeah. But I know it's been a hot topic since I've been here going on 5 years now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it
It's the
repaired.
first person that's come through and said, "Hey, I'll put the money in. I'll do this." Also, the other thing that was he talked about was kind of a sidebar conversation is, say we get the parking lot done, he would like to rent some of the parking lot for valet parking for the restaurant. So
Okay.
just throwing that out. But he'll be back in the work session because he's not here tonight.
I'm over here.
So, but just if you can, just look over it a little bit. If you have questions, jot them down, and we'll be able to go and full steam on the next work session.
I got it.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, you have police department report? Okay.
Police department report. Last night we had 3 vehicles stolen, 2 internautos. We had 2 vehicles stolen the other night. This morning at 8:30, myself and Officer Lightford caught all 3 individuals. Unfortunately, they were 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
Hence the reason it's reflex.
So we recovered 3 of the vehicles and a bunch of stuff belonging to people in Clarkston, Atlanta, and Henry County, I think.
So
So,
people just passing through, or they live in
yeah, actually, truth be told, none of them live here. So, that's all we have. Police department-wise. Administrative-wise, what do we think?
We got a lot, but they already know pretty much.
The grant's up and going. We met with Miss Joyce, got all that worked out. I think Chris got you over the invoice stuff, right? The RFP for the parking lot. I know I touched on that. So when they did the RFP, they kind of do like kind of an estimate of where they think a roundabout price should be. Right now, they're at like $900,000 to do the parking lot. That's a roundabout price. I'm working right now with the attorneys to work on SPLOST 1, assisting and helping fund some of that. It'll be a very, very small portion, but that's what we're working on right now.
And I'm just curious, did the idea of a parking garage ever go into conversation?
Parking garage?
Because I'm just curious, like we can use vertical space, and that would help out with like businesses like 592. They bring in more business on our main street because the issue right now, we talk about we want more business on Main Street, but there's not a lot of parking. So if we were to incorporate a garage, at least 3 levels, that would make a world of a difference. And I understand right now it's a budget, but yeah.
So with that, I think we would have to go into studies on being able to support it with the ground. So that'd be So because of the drainage that runs under there, you'll probably have to reroute all that. You're talking about putting a structure, 3-story structure on top of all that. I mean, we can look at it. I mean, it'll cost a good bit to have Lowe redo an engineering plan for that.
It will cost them. So it never went into conversation?
No,
Because I mentioned it a long time ago. I did. Yeah.
we did the
Now-
feasibility
now-
study for the drainage and, everything else to make it just flat. That's what we discussed. Because we wanted to make sure the bike riders would be able to come, park and get on their bikes and, because they're going to extend that bike trail. So that was another reason why, we discussed it in that manner. And then also it was discussed, this was something I said, a lot of people are going electrical now. And I wanted to get those chargers out there so they will be able to charge their vehicles as well. Because that may be some type of revenue that could come back to the city as well. Yeah.
Because it'd be a self-paid parking lot.
Yeah. Just like you go everywhere else and park. And I don't know about everybody else, but I don't like parking big. But if you want to jump on the elevator, come down. I don't know.
steps,
it's-
and even if we didn't do 3, maybe if we could just do 2.
Yeah, I seen a 2. I've
you
seen
start
a
with
2.
that.
3 is kind of, I don't know how many other buildings other than the apartments that have that many.
And then is
numbers.
it big enough for that? Is it actually big enough for?
I've seen some small parking decks. I mean, of course, I wouldn't know how structurally that
Yeah.
work with engineering, but
Yeah, it's, you're gonna pay to get the engineers up
Yeah.
there.
So that'll
We've
be.
already paid, I mean,
That means we're gonna have to go
substantial
back and pay another study.
I guess
Let's
the question
get rock
is,
and
would it
roll.
be worth it? I mean, I know it's you guys already did the study now, and it was never talked about, I guess, but just me speaking on an opinion. If we're planning to get to level up Lithonia with more population and business, it's gonna be hard with parking because that space, like you said, is not big. So that's why I'm saying vertical space, But
I think truthfully, just being honest, that'll be way outside of our spot. Like, you're talking a few $1 million. Because we're talking 900,000 just to do a flat surface.
I got a question. So, on going back to proposal, so they don't put in it that it should be 900,000.
No. That's just kind of like
When he looks at it,
yeah.
it should
That's
be in
kind
that
of like
range.
a rough of what the market's calling for now. Now, when we put the RFP out, we'll get all kinds of different bids.
Right. I see
Could be
what you're
lower,
saying.
could be higher. I mean, you just don't know.
and how many parking spaces would that be again?
Don't hold me to it, but I thought it was like 180.
180.
I think it was like somewhere around there. Because
And we're
you got to
talking-
think it goes all the way down by Public Works, comes back up, and you got parking in the middle too.
Backside of the event center.
Yeah,
You
because
got all the way
remember
over here.
so remember where the drainage will be different there too. So all that's going to be done, and then it'll be done all the way out going back toward Public Works too. And you'll have parking in the middle of there. As well.
I didn't know it'd be that many, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, I know it's over 100 when I counted last time.
Does any of that space belong to the businesses that's already there?
All one of them, but it's not it. So if we get the person that owns,
Meriwether.
Old post office.
yeah, the old post office.
No.
So we got to try to talk with him because that could be more spaces, but it's not in the RFP. I mean, it could be more if we can get him on board. He'd be the only one that owns property there.
You haven't been able to contact him?
I don't think anybody's been able to get in touch with him.
Because they're doing something on Main Street, so they're not touching his property, because I've seen them painting different buildings, fronts. Or is that somebody that actually owns it? I thought they was propping for the movie.
They've been propping for the movie all day today.
Right, so I'm wondering, have anybody contacted?
No, that's a different person. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, no, the movie people can't even get in touch with them. And I think Javon, was the last person I know that's even talked to him. That's been a while.
Okay.
I think Doug talked to him years ago too.
We did.
It seemed like the movie people were able to get in touch with people that we're not able to get in touch with. Maybe because I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's where we're at with the parking. So with the SPOS bond, that'll be, I mean, as soon as we get it, we can look at going ahead and moving forward. That way
Right.
that can be done.
Sorry, one other question.
Mhm.
Cameras, are we putting cameras out there? Because we
I
don't
already
have that machine. You have the machine that has to go, and you got to go and pay. So you got a camera up there that's saying who didn't pay.
There's a camera going on Main Street, like within the next, I guess, month or two. There'll be a live feed camera. It'll stretch. We'll be able to see all the way here and all the way down. So, that's all I got.
All right. Any questions, council, concerns? Everybody good? All right. Yes.
Talking about the electric, for the cars.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
So are you all working on that?
Well, we gotta go through the process of getting it together first. So yeah, that's last.
Okay.
But there is a company that reached out to me,
Okay.
that's interested, but we gotta get an RFP for that too.
Okay.
Yep.
How do these companies go? Like,
They have marketers that they go market every
Yeah,
city, every need or something that we might consider.
might want, yeah.
Mhm.
Nestled will come out and put it in for like next to nothing. Because it's part of their charge, it's part of the packaging firewall.
Mm,
Yeah, they need to put some.
okay. Alrighty, moving to the mayor's report. The only thing I have, I attended the Commissioner Larry Johnson's retirement party. You know that he's running for CEO coming up. But I was approached by one of the attorneys with DeKalb County, and he looked at me in my face, and he said that your money is coming. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
What?
Remember that 2 million for the smaller cities?
Yeah.
It was Lithonia and who else?
Lithonia, Pine Lake, Avondale, or Lithonia, Pine Lake, Avondale,
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Yeah, but of course they have to go through their legal, parameters first, and then present what they want us to do as far as receiving that payment. So just giving you a heads up, it's still coming. I don't want you to think that we were all forgotten, but we're not forgotten. So just want to make sure you know that.
Was it stipulations for that one?
That's why it's going through the legal.
Oh.
So to see, yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like a spot, extra spot.
right,
Okay.
extra spots.
Yeah, so we're not sure the stipulation of it being that originally it was, gonna be stormwater.
Mm-hmm.
But we were one of the only cities that said, hey, not only will we need it for stormwater, but we'll need it for X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Right.
So we kind of left ours broad, but, stick with stormwater. So I think it's monthly too, if I'm not mistaken, it's like, 100,000.
Okay. Okay. So just letting you know that. And then we touched on the parking on Wigan Street. So I was told, and I need to follow up with our commissioner about this as well. If it was stated that if the city of Lithonia do their due diligence as far as getting that parking done on Wigan Street, that means we put in a good amount of money, which we are, that the county, our commissioner, Marita Johnson, will possibly give us $200,000 for that parking area as well. So I'll hopefully have a report on that too. So just letting you know that. All right. So that's all I have for tonight. Council member updates. Anyone has anything at all? Y'all quiet today? All right.
I was just wanting, Chief, I don't know, and it's not, what's happening in the city, but more around the city. What's going on with the transformers that keep falling down of because Lithonia was over there about 2 weeks ago. And last week, the fire department was down by Oakley where they had.
Yeah, so they had we all went down and they had a tree when the wind blew it, kind of leaned, got stuck to get the power on, the tree caught fire, so they had to take all the power down to get it off.
Okay, I know one bird on up at Rock Chapel, it just hit the ground and it caught a fire. And the fire department was there and something like that came out also.
They using that fire.
I have one thing. Mr. Munson fixed the stop sign at the end of Flip, the bottom of the field. He fixed it twice. Somebody hit it 2 days apart from each other. But I have a suggestion, because right now it makes it even more hard to see at the level that it's at, and I think it needs to be replaced. It's taken out the ground and brought back a little bit, because everybody knows they got to stop there. But the sign makes it even more difficult. So if you can look at that. Yep, they got it at eye level now, and so you can't see. So just FYI on that.
All right, council. Is there a need for executive session? Anyone? All right, and it's for what? Personnel. Got it.
Okay.
Can we also include, real estate?
Personnel and real estate. Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting on.
Waiting for that moment.
Oh, so you like.
All right, I need a motion to go into executive session, please.
I motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Need a restroom break?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
glad I ate before I came.
It won't take long, maybe. I don't know. We'll
No,
see.
mine's is gonna be really quick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's